Yesterday we have seen till today what all we have covered. In the first model only left out is what are composite sections and temperature stresses. So in the previous class I focused on what are all the elastic constants, what is the relationship between the elastic constants, Young's modulus, shear modulus, bulk modulus are the elastic constants, and Poisson's ratio. We have derived the relationship between the Young's modulus and shear modulus. E is equal to 2G into 1 plus mu, and relationship between the Young's modulus and bulk modulus is E is equal to 3K into 1 minus 2m or 1 minus 2 mu. Then we have arrived at the relationship between the three elastic constants, that is E is equal to 9 kg divided by 3K plus G. Apart from that, we have studied the stress strain curve, we have studied the linear strain, lateral strain, Poisson's ratio, Hooke's law, stress strain curve. Based on all these studies, whatever the numericals have appeared in the university question paper that we are seeing today. Friends, remember, whatever may be my effort in this subject, as the subject is being totally numerical one, you need to put the effort for it. Otherwise, I will be helpless for the subject. Yes, first numerical is a steel bar 300 mm long, length of it is 300 mm, 50 mm wide and 40 mm thick, is subjected to a pull of 300 kilonewton in the direction of its length. Determine the change in volume. He has given the Young's modulus and the Poisson's ratio. He has given all the three dimensions of that particular block. From the dimensions of the block, you can get the volume of that particular block. Now he is asking change in volume. Change in volume and volume. The link is the volumetric strain. So the volumetric strain and change in volume, the link is the linear strains. Volumetric strain is sum of the strains in three mutually perpendicular directions. It's alright. Therefore, you can calculate the epsilon of V by knowing the linear strains, lateral strains, and taking the sum of them. Yes. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. The volumetric strain is sum of the strains in three mutually perpendicular directions. Yes, here he has given the block and he has given the direction of the load. The load is along the axial axis. The load is along the axis. What is the linear strain with respect to that particular load? Can you guess it? The load is acting along the 300 mm. Therefore, linear strain is along the 300 mm. What about the lateral strain? Lateral strain is in the directions perpendicular to the direction of loading. 50 mm and 40 mm are the dimensions perpendicular to the loading. Now, first I need to calculate the stress. What is the stress? Load divided by area or resistance divided by area. One load is there, that is 300 kilonewton. That 300 divided by what is the area? Which area you are taking for the calculation? You have to take the resisting area. Which is the resisting area here? 40 mm and 50 mm. Just see the load and decide the area. The resistance is offered by 50 mm by 40 mm. Therefore, cross-sectional area is 50 mm by 40 mm. That is 200 mm square. Stress is equal to load divided by area. Load he has given as the 300 kilonewton. That is 300 into 10 to the power 3. And area is 40 by 50. Therefore, the stress is equal to, yes, load divided by area will give you 150 Newton per mm square. Now I want the linear strain. What is the definition of the linear strain? The strain in the direction of stress is the linear strain. That stress is along 300 mm. Therefore, the strain is stress divided by Young's modulus. Stress is 150 Newton per mm square and Young's modulus he has given it as 2 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square. Therefore, you are going to get the strain as 7.5 into 10 to the power minus 4. This linear strain is in which direction? It is in the direction of 300 mm. Now I need to get the lateral strain. As linear strain is known to me, how I can get the lateral strain? The link between the linear and lateral strain is the Poisson's ratio. Yes, Poisson's ratio he has given. The linear strain is known to us, hence I can get the lateral strain. Linear strain is increase in length here. Therefore, what you are expecting as per the lateral strain is considered. Lateral strain is in the direction of 50 mm and 40 mm. Therefore, first you calculate the lateral strain. Lateral strain is equal to minus. Why this minus is coming? Why this minus is coming? This strain is perpendicular to the strain of 300 mm. Therefore, lateral strain is in the direction of 40 and 50 mm. Therefore, lateral strain is equal to mu into epsilon A. Mu he has given as 0.25 and epsilon A is 7.5 into 10 to the power minus 4. Now, minus indicates it is opposite to the linear strain. Therefore, whatever strain you are getting here, minus 1.875 into 10 to the power minus 4, it is in the direction of 40 mm and 50 mm. Yes, Now I can get the volumetric strain by two methods. One is directly volumetric strain is equal to, yes, change in volume divided by original volume is volumetric strain. So volumetric strain is sum of the strains in three mutually perpendicular directions. In the previous class we have proved it. Epsilon of V equal to epsilon of x plus epsilon of y plus epsilon of z. Therefore, in the first case what I am doing is, I am calculating the value of epsilon of V. What is epsilon of V? Epsilon of V equal to epsilon of x plus epsilon of y plus epsilon of z. Here in the x direction, linear is there. In y and z direction, lateral is there. Therefore, I can write it as epsilon a plus epsilon a L plus epsilon a L. Therefore, substitute these values. Epsilon I is 7.5 × 10 to the power minus 4. Epsilon I L is minus 1.875. After substituting it, we are going to get the volumetric strain as epsilon of V is equal to 3.75 into 10 to the power minus 4. Now, how I can get the change in volume he is asking. Change in volume, I can get it by using the volumetric strain as change in volume is equal to volumetric strain multiplied by the original volume. Therefore, change in volume is equal to del V, that is volumetric strain multiplied by the original volume. Both the things are known to me. Hence, I can get the change in volume. So, volumetric strain is 3.75 into 10 to the power minus 4 and original volume is this number. Hence, I can get the volumetric strain as 135 mm³. Yes, anybody has got any doubt here?
Nothing, sir.
Yes.
Hello, hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, original volume ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
Original volume is nothing but L into B into D. L is 300 mm, B is 50 mm, D is 40 mm. Original volume is equal to LBD. But my doubt is whether the screen is visible to you or not.
Visible, sir.
Visible, na? Then there is no problem.
Sir,
Yes. Original volume is just the product of these two numbers, LBD, 50 by 40 by 300 mm. Now volumetric strain is sum of the strains in x direction, y direction and z direction. Therefore, the volumetric strain is 3.75 × 10 to the power minus 4. Change in volume is equal to volumetric strain multiplied by original volume. Before applying the load, the dimensions of the member were 40 mm by 50 mm by 300 mm. It is given you in the problem. Hence, you got the original volume, multiply it with the volumetric strain, you will get the change in volume. Same answer I can get it by other method, which is a bit complicated one. Still we shall try for it. strain in length I want. Strain in length in the sense, which is the strain in the direction of the length, is nothing but the linear strain here, that is in the direction of 300 mm. The strain is stress by Young's modulus, and that value I got it as 7.5 into 10 to the power minus 4. Therefore, what is increase in length? Increase in length is nothing but the strain multiplied by the original length. Strain is epsilon A, original length is 300 mm. Therefore, epsilon A into 300. Epsilon A is 7.5 into 10 to the power minus 4 and E is 300. I will get it as 0.225. Now, as length is changing by 0.225, what is the change in volume because of this change in length? I need to calculate. And I need to calculate the lateral strain. What is the lateral strain? Already we have calculated it. Linear strain multiplied by mu. That lateral strain is nothing but the change in width or change in depth. Definition of lateral strain is strain in all directions perpendicular to the direction of the applied loading. Therefore, the strain in y and z direction, here those are 40 and 50 mm. Therefore, the change in width, that I am taking it as the 40 mm. Here see here I am using the strain as negative because there it was increase, here change is decrease in the width. See here the decrease in width is only 0.0075. Don't make it equal to 0. Yes, like that the change in depth is equal to that lateral strain multiplied by original depth, that is equal to 0.00562. Change in volume is given by, yes, partial differentiation that you are studying in mathematics. Yes, partial change in volume is equal to change in length multiplied by width into depth. Partial change in the volume because of change in depth is equal to L multiplied by W into depth. Like that. This I explained you in the previous class. Substitute all the values here. You will get the volume is equal to 140 Newton. Earlier it was 145. Here by mistake I have taken the, instead of 50 I have taken here 30 mm. I have taken 30 by 40. That is why a slight change of 5 mm cube is there. That is not important. Have you got the procedure? In the first case, by knowing the strains in three mutually perpendicular directions, we are calculating the volumetric strain. Volumetric strain multiplied by original volume. Directly we will get the change in volume. In the second case, what I am doing is, instead of calculating the volumetric strain, I am calculating the linear and lateral strains. From the linear strain, I am calculating what is the change in linear dimension. And from the lateral strain, I am getting what are the changes in the lateral dimensions. And afterwards, I am calculating the changes in the volume because of these individual changes and taking the total of them. In both the cases, I will get the same answer. Yes. So friends, we are going for the next. These are all the problems selected from the VTU question papers. A member is of total length 2 meter. Its diameter is 40 mm for the first 1 meter length. In the next 0.5 meter length, its diameter gradually reduces from 40 mm to d. For the remaining length, the diameter remains d mm uniform. Sir, when this member is subjected to an axial force, ಹುಡುಗರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಕಾಣ್ತದಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ತಾರ್ರಿ, ಬಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಒಟ್ಟು ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಬರುವಂತ. ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಕಾಣ್ತದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಂ ರೀ,
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಶೇರ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ 2-3 ಸಲ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ.
ಇವಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ಅವ್ರು ಯಾಕೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ? ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ರೀ
ಇದೆ ಸರ್,
ಇದೆ ಬಿಡ್ರಿ.
ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಶೋ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್.
ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸು ಬರೋದಿರಲಿ, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಸೈಡ್. ಹಾಂ, ಎಸ್ ಸರ್. ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರು ಇಟ್ಟೋದು ಕೇಳ್ರಿ, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ.
Yeah, friends, I asked you whether the screen is visible or not. You told me that the screen was visible. Yes, we are going for one more problem here. A member is of total length 2 meter. Its diameter is 40 mm for the first 1 meter length. In the next 0.5 meter length, its diameter gradually reduces from 40 mm to d. For the remaining length, the diameter remains d mm uniform. When this member is subjected to an axial force of 150 kN, total elongation observed is 2.39 mm. Determine the diameter d. Yes, I will show you the figure so that the problem will be clear to you. The figure is to be drawn by us only. He has not given the figure in the question paper. Now you read the problem and see the figure. You will come to know a member, total length of it is equal to 2 meter. Of that, first 1 meter length is of 40 mm. Next 0.5 meter length changes the diameter from 40 mm to d mm, and next 0.5 meter length, its diameter is d only. When this system is subjected to a load of 50 kN, its total elongation is 2.39 meter mm. If that is the case, he is asking what is the diameter d. Remember here, what is the role of the diameter? When the diameter reduces, what happens? The stress increases. Diameter reduces means the area reduces. Area reduces means the stress increases. When the stress increases, strain increases. Strain increases means the elongation increases. Like that, each one is related with each other. Yes. Now how to solve this problem? If you cut anywhere, the resistance is constant, I won't have any problem. Everywhere, he has not told anything in connection with the material, only one Young's modulus he has given. It indicates that the material is same throughout its length. What is changing? My expression for the elongation or the deformation is del L or delta is equal to P into L divided by A into E. Del L is equal to P into L divided by A into E. So you draw the free body diagram of these bars independently for whatever length the area is constant. Yes, first part it is having uniform diameter of 40 mm. Next part, at one end the diameter is 40 mm, at the other end it is D. For the third part, its diameter is constant. We have to calculate. All the parts are subjected to the tensile force only. Therefore, length of all the parts will increase. Length of first part is 1000 mm, length of second part is 500 mm, length of the third part is 500 mm. Therefore, what you are doing is you are calculating the deformation of the individual part. Delta 1, delta 2, delta 3. Then you are calculating the total deformation. Total deformation is equal to delta 1 plus delta 2 plus delta 3. In that one, D is unknown to you. In terms of D only, you are calculating the total deformation. But he has given you the value of total deformation. Equate it to the total deformation, hence get the value of the diameter. Yes, see here. The deformation of the first part is given by delta 1 is equal to P1 into L1. Yes. Yes.
ಸರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಅರ್ಧ ಕಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್, ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್. ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್, ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಹೌದಾ, ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಸರ್, ಏ ಮಲ್ಲು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಸರ್ ಕ್ರಿ ಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನಡೀತದೆ. ಏ ಸರ್ ಇರಲಿ, ಇದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನಡೀತದೆ. ಇದು ಯಾಕೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಗೈತಿ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗೈತಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರಾಗ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ದಾಗ, ಇವಾಗ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ನಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ಮಿನಿಮೈಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ರಿ ಸರ್, ಬಹುತೇಕ
ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಮಿನಿಮೈಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತೀವೇನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ
ಸರ್, ಬರ್ತದೆ
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಹೋದಾಗ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಎಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಓಕೆನಾ? ಹಾಂ ಹೇಳಿ. ಎಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ದಾಗ ಹಾಂ ಎಸ್. You just see here, he has given us the problem given is like this, but the area is not same throughout. That is why we need to cut them, analyze the individual parts, then pit them to get the final answer. Like first part, when I am cutting it, subject all the part wherever you are cutting, how you are calculating the resistance. Friends, you believe it or not, the important thing in strength of material is to compute the resistance. What is the internal force? That will really create the problem for the members. Once if you are able to calculate the internal resistance, the rest of the thing is easy for you. Like the stress is internal resistance divided by area. Strain is equal to stress divided by Young's modulus. Deformation is equal to strain into original dimension, like that. Major thing is the internal resistance. Already with so many problems I told how we are calculating the resistance. Anywhere if you want the resistance, cut the member into two parts, consider one of the part and assume the resistance on it. You will come to know. Here only one force is there, therefore resistance is fixed, is equal to 150 kilonewton. Yes, so first part is 40 mm diameter, length is 1000 mm and force is 150 kilonewton. Second part is tapering one. At one end it is 40 mm, at the other end it is D. He has asked only that particular D. And length of the second part is 500 mm. And third part length is 500 mm. So what I am doing is, first I am calculating the deformation of the individual part. To calculate the deformation, what is needed for me? P, that is nothing but the resistance, into L divided by A into E. That is the regular formula. If at all change in tapering bar, we have proved the expression for it, deformation of tapering bar. Those are to be used here in the calculation. So one by one part I am considering here. First you go for the first part. Deformation is delta 1 is equal to P1 L1 divided by A1 E1. But in this problem it is seen that the P1 150, P2 150, P3 150. Therefore it is common. I can write it as P and is equal to 150 kilonewton. That is why, as the Young's modulus is given in Newton per mm square, that is why it is to be converted into Newton. So 150 into 10 to the power 3 is the value of P. Area of the first part 40 mm diameter, therefore it is 5 d square divided by 4. Hence substitute all these. I want to substitute the value of P and E as they are being the common at the end. I kept them as they are. Therefore del 1 is equal to 0.795 P divided by E. Then go for the second part. When it is uniformly tapering circular bar, what is the expression is PL 4PL divided by pi E into D1 D2. For pi E D1 D2 are in the numerator, right? This is the deformation of uniformly tapering circular bar. We have proved it. Hence you substitute the values here. 4P, L is 500, phi E, 1 D is D, other D is 40 mm. Substitute all those values, you will get the del 2 is equal to 15.91 P divided by E into D. Yes, you go for the third part. Deformation of third part. Third part is again uniform circular bar. Therefore directly I can use P into L divided by A into E. E is missing there. Afterwards I have written here. Yes, P into L is 500. A is diameter D, pi d square by 4.785 into d square, and E is E only. Therefore del 3 I will get it equal to. Yes, now you find the total deformation. Total deformation is equal to del 1 plus del 2 plus del 3. But he has given you in the problem total deformation as 2.39 mm. Yes, substitute the value of total deformation as 2.39 mm and substitute the values of del 1, del 2, del 3. Already we have calculated them. In the whole expression, P is known to you, E is known to you. Only unknown is the value of D. Substitute the value of P and E and simplify it. P 150 into 10 to the power 3 E is 2 into 10 to the power 3. If you substitute it, if you simplify it, you will get like this. And solve this equation for D. You will get the value of D. Two answers. One is 20 mm, other is minus. Minus is not possible. Therefore, the permissible value of D is 20 mm. Required diameter of the bar D is equal to 20 mm. Yes, anything to ask here? Yes, we shall go for the next problem. This is actually the problem related with the stress strain curve. A steel bar of 20 mm diameter is subjected to a tensile load test. Determine stress, strain, Young's modulus, percentage elongation, percentage decrease in cross-sectional area from the following data. Overall summary I will tell you in connection with the stress strain curve. Whenever he is asking any of the stress, say it may be the stress corresponding to the elastic limit, stress corresponding to the upper yield point, stress corresponding to lower yield point, stress corresponding to ultimate stress. For all these stresses, the corresponding load divided by initial area is to be used. I told you this one when I am explaining you the stress strain curve. The reason also I told you why you are taking only the initial area, why not the actual area. Only for percentage elongation or the final stress in the failure stress or breaking stress, we are using the final area. Strain is nothing but the change in length divided by original length. Young's modulus he wants a stress should be known to you and the strain should be known to you. Hence you can get the value of Young's modulus. Percentage elongation you want, that is nothing but the final length minus initial length divided by initial length into 100. That is total elongation divided by original length multiplied by 100 is percentage elongation. Percentage reduction in cross section, decrease in cross section, that is nothing but cross section reduces, therefore initial area minus final area divided by initial area multiplied by 100. This is what the overall procedure. Now we shall see what data he has given. He has given the gauge length that has been used to conduct the test is nothing but the gauge length, that is 200 mm, that is initial length. Extensionality load of, when the P load is 100 kN, that time deformation is 0.147 mm. From these two data what you can get? Load is known to you, you can get the stress. Deformation is known to you, you can get the strain. Stress strain known to you, you can get the Young's modulus. Total elongation 50 mm. Total elongation is nothing but the change in length divided by original length multiplied by 100. That give you the percentage elongation. And diameter at failure. Diameter at failure means after failure, what is its diameter? That is the final diameter. From final diameter, you can get the final area. From initial diameter, you can get the initial area. Hence, you can get the percentage decrease in cross-sectional area. Like that, completely we need to read the problem, think over whether it is possible to solve it or not, then only attempt the problems. One hard thing I want to convey to you is the strength of material, whatever may be your effort, rather than remembering the formulas, if you are remembering the logic behind that particular problem, you can easily attempt it. That is my experience. Yes, go for initial diameter. He has given d1, that is equal to di, that is equal to 20 mm. Therefore initial area pi di square by 4, we will get it as 314.16 mm square. Then final diameter df is equal to 16 mm. Final area I will get it as 201.04 mm square. Now initial length he has given it as 200 mm. Change in length he has given it as 0.147 at a load of 100 kilonewton. Therefore final length is equal to initial length plus total elongation. Initial length is 200 mm plus total elongation is 50. Now we can calculate one by one parameter. Stress is nothing but load divided by the area. Stress is equal to load divided by area. Yes, area I told you, you have to use the initial area. Load he has given it as 100 kilonewton and initial area is known to us. Therefore, I will get the answer in load is in kilonewton, area is in mm, kilonewton per mm square, 0.318 kilonewton per mm square. To remove the kilonewton, you multiply it with 1000. That is 318 Newton per mm square. Now change in length he has given. Strain is nothing but the change in length divided by original length. Change in length is 0.147 and original length is 200. So you will get the strain as 7.35 10 to the power minus 4. This strain is nothing but the linear strain. I got the stress, I got the strain. Hence I can get the Young's modulus as stress divided by strain. So I will get it as 4.32 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square. Now percentage elongation I want. For that I need to use the total elongation of the member. That is final length minus initial length. Directly has given the total elongation as 50 mm. Initial length is 200 mm. Therefore it is 50 by 200 multiplied by 100 is nothing but 25%. Now percentage decrease in area. Area is reduced. Initial area minus final area divided by initial area multiplied by 100. That is nothing but 36%. Yes, we shall go for one more problem. All these problems are from the VTU question paper. For given material, E is 100 kilonewton per mm square, Young's modulus, and shear modulus is 40 kilonewton per mm square. Find the bulk modulus and lateral contraction of the round bar of 50 mm diameter and 2.5 meter long when stretched by 2.5 mm. Take mu is equal to 0.25. Just overall summary how to solve the problem, whether it is feasible, whether I got the problem or not to understand it, just try to attempt it. He has given E, he has given G. E and G are known to me. He is asking to calculate the value of K. I can use E is equal to 2Z into 1 plus 1 divided by M. E and K relation I want. Directly you can go for E is equal to 3K into 1 minus 2 divided by M. Bulk modulus and Young's modulus. Their Poisson's ratio is known to you. Young's modulus is known to you. Only unknown is K. You can get it. Other way is E is given to you. Shear modulus is given to you. Therefore, you have the relations between E, G, K. What was it? E is equal to 9kg divided by 3k plus z. Even you can use that particular formula. First part is over. Here the critical is the second part. Bulk modulus you can get. In the second part, can you think what all he has given? He has given the length. He has given, what was that, stretched by 2.5 mm. Means along the length, its length is increased by 2.5 mm. Therefore, that 2.5 mm is the change in length. Therefore, change in length is known to you, original length is known to you. What you can get? You can get the linear strain. Linear strain is known to you, Poisson's ratio is known to you. You can get the lateral strain. Lateral strain is known to you and lateral dimension is known to you. You can get the lateral change in dimension. That itself is the contraction. As the length is increasing, the diameter is decreasing. This is all the overall summary of how we can attempt the problem. Now I will solve it. He has given the Young's modulus, he has given the shear modulus, length he has given, diameter he has given. From the diameter you can get the cross sectional area. Change in length he has given as 2.5 mm. Now I will calculate the bulk modulus. Bulk modulus K, I know the relationship E and K is E equal to 3K into 1 minus 2 divided by M. So, substitute the values of E and Poisson's ratio, you will get the value of K. K is equal to 66.66 kilonewton per mm square. If you want, you can check the value of K by using only E and G. That is E equal to 9 kg divided by 3k plus G. In that one, E and G are known to you. You can get the value of K. You will come to know that the K will be 66.66 kilonewton per mm square only. Now, one more part is calculation of lateral contraction. Yes, the change in diameter. When you lateral contraction is asking means what is the change in or what is the decrease in the diameter he is asking. I know the linear strain, I know the Poisson's ratio, I can get the lateral strain. From the lateral strain, I can go for the change in diameter. Yes, the linear strain is nothing but change in length divided by original length. I got it as 1 into 10 to the power minus 3. Lateral strain is nothing but the Poisson's ratio into linear strain, and actually this lateral strain is negative in nature, as that is increase in the dimension, this will lead to the decrease in the dimension. Yes, Now, lateral strain by definition is change in diameter divided by original diameter. Exact definition is change in lateral dimension divided by original lateral dimension. Here, to the applied load, the diameter happens to be the lateral dimension. Therefore, epsilon IL is equal to change in length, change in diameter divided by original diameter. Yes. Rearrange the terms, you will get the change in diameter is equal to epsilon IL into original diameter. Epsilon IL is known to you and original dimension is known to you. Hence, you can get the change in diameter. Therefore, the contraction in the diameter is equal to 0.0125 mm. Yes, friends, with that, we are concluding the elastic constants part, and from the tomorrow's class we are starting with the composite section. Only composite section and temperature stresses are left out in the first model. And remember friends, the first model's name is simple, but if you compare all the models, in my opinion, it is vast and contains many varieties of problems. That is why you have to prepare thoroughly for the first model. The rest models will become easy compared to this one. Yes, anybody has got any doubt?